Hello and welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the latest edition of Torah Talks with Rabbi Rabs and Luke Ford. I'm your host for this evening. I'm Rabbi Rabs, and welcome to the House of Rabs. And to my right is my co-host, the very holy, the one and only Levi Ben Abraham, aka Luke Ford. Big round of applause for him. And I just want to warn everybody tonight, we have something special going on because we are filming live in front of a live studio audience. So a big round to the studio audience for coming out tonight.
This is the first time we've had a woman in here under the age of 50.
I thought you might say something worse than that, but okay.
Chas v'shalom, chas v'halila.
All right, so how you doing, Levi?
Baruch Hashem.
Okay, so big news for Levi this week. If those who follow his world-famous blog, he's posted up on his blog this week. I saw that he posted up very recently, like maybe in the last hour or so, footage from when he gave a epic, monumental, historic discussion, a live talk in front of people on the topic of his sex addiction. So give it up for Levi on that. That's big news. And so there's that, and the topic of sex addiction. Let me ask you a question, since you're the show's expert on sex addiction. Let me ask you a question. If a presidential candidate, groped a pair of female breasts repeatedly, would that or would that not constitute a sexual addiction? Take it away.
Well, if they didn't belong to him, like if he hadn't been granted, legal access to them.
So if they weren't his breasts or breasts,
he hadn't been granted access to them.
So if it was breasts that he did not have permission to squeeze, like don't squeeze the Charmin. Right. If the rule was don't squeeze the Charmin, and he went ahead and gave it a squeeze, that would constitute a sex addiction?
No, but very likely it would indicate a problem in that direction, because a presidential candidate is generally going to be someone who's highly accomplished. Hey, Adolfo, what's up? Good to see you, dude.
Hey, Adolfo's in there.
Hey, my buddy's in the room. So a presidential candidate is generally going to be a highly accomplished person, and so if he starts like groping breasts that don't belong to him, it's going to totally destroy not just his presidential campaign, it's going to destroy his marriage, his standing with his family, with his friends, with his community, with his religious community, with his prospects. Like, no one's going to have him like become Bob Dole and become a spokesman for Viagra, after he's done like getting accused of groping breasts that don't belong to you. So it's going to totally ruin your life. And so why would someone do that? I mean, like, let's say like the breasts are like a ripe peach. Like you take off the covering and the breasts they're like a ripe peach, and touching them is an epic thrill. So is that epic thrill though? And let's say the nipples get hard when you touch them.
How
They're just
hard?
like so hard that they just pop out. They just like pop, just go whoo.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're feeling these fine breasts that are like ripe peaches, and the nipples are popping out. But the woman is saying, no, don't do that. Those don't belong to you. They belong to my boyfriend. And I'm Shomer Negia, and I don't believe in this kind of foolishness. And so you have then like wrecked your whole life just for like the 10-15 seconds of pleasure, fondling these fine breasts. And so someone who would destroy everything for 10-15 seconds of pleasure very likely has impulses that are out of control. And one of the terms we use for people that predictably have impulses out of control is addiction.
Lakewood Rob is also in there tonight.
And
it's all your friends.
Baruch Hashem.
Your friends are in the chat room tonight.
So check out my talk, folks, at Bina LA. Just go to the top of lukeford.net and check out my 12-minute talk on 12-step programs for sex addiction, and I trust that my talk is a blessing to you.
Okay, so let me continue on that. Thank you for clarifying that, for answering that. Let me ask you this: if a certain person, right? Let's say like they were a candidate for president, okay, and they were a forerunner, like they were had a good chance of winning, was accused of fondling not one pair of breasts, but possibly as many as 4 pairs of breasts, which is 8 separate ball-shaped, like melon size.
Right,
Although I imagine with 4 different women, one might be more like a melon, and then like one might be like an orange, and one might be like
some are like flea bites.
Yeah, and like some might be like a big pear, and then like.
But I no longer think of women as objects,
as fruit.
or
I don't
like obsess over body parts.
Never do that.
I've totally moved on from that.
We're above that.
Thank God.
But let's say like one had like watermelons, and the other one had like little cherries, and someone were like in between like a grapefruit or a pomegranate.
Right,
okay,
right.
and then they had like different nipples for different assorted parts. Like some were like granite, rock hard.
Right.
And then on the other end you have like
some of them are inverted.
Yeah, it's like you have innies. So let's say like this candidate went there with 4. He had 8 different breasts he was squeezing. Would that be asymptomatic of the out of control, the pattern of addiction?
Well, if it was John F. Kennedy and it was the 1960s and he could do this on the quiet, then it didn't necessarily destroy his life and his presidency or his friendships or his family. It damaged his family, but it didn't destroy his family. So if it's not destroying your life, maybe addiction's not the word. If it's destroying your life, then
but let me say, if it costs the candidate his candidacy,
that alone I wouldn't say, therefore it's addiction. It costs the candidate everything.
That is kind of everything, isn't it?
No, because 100 people run for president. For every one who succeeds, the 99 who lose isn't the end of their life. But if you get totally humiliated, then no one's going to want to hire you to be a spokesperson for Viagra
or for National Restaurant
Pepsi
Association.
Or National They're not going to hire you to have a national syndicated radio show. Your wife might divorce you. Your kids might refuse to talk to you. Like, what if your kids don't talk to you for 5 years because you've humiliated the family by groping white women?
Okay. I actually agree, like Liquid Rav pointed out, that this is not a big deal because JFK was banging his secretaries and he fooled around on his wife with Marilyn Monroe, right? And Bill Clinton was accused of all these crazy things, and he had, sexual advances on Paula Jones and he was just like all over the place with his pants down, right? So, everybody had no problem with Clinton. So I tend to agree with that. It's what's the big deal? Like, this is like par for the course, right? So, you know what I mean? It's like, but
yeah, if it's not hurting your life, then.
However, I saw the polls today, and his ratings, or what do you want to call it?
Herman Cain?
Yeah, his ratings on his it didn't hurt him in his standings. He's still up there with Romney.
But his unfavorables are
his unfavorables has moved.
Jumping, yeah.
He had like a 70% favorability rating or something, and it's gone down to 50-something.
Yeah.
He has taken a hit in favorability, right? Which I'm sure that means a lot of conservative women don't like, some black guy groping their breasts. They don't like that idea.
And none of the charges have said that he groped their breasts.
I've heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, the Sharon woman who came forward today said they were in a limousine. She'd gone to him for help getting a job. She's like blonde and fine. They were in a limousine, and he leaned over towards her, and he sent his hand up her legs under her skirt towards her genitals, and at the same time he starts moving her head down towards his crotch.
Well, they were closing a deal.
And he said to her, "You want a job, don't you?" I don't think that.
Love the champs in the room. Hey, Brad, how's it going?
I don't think that's going to fly too well. I think this is like the end of Herman Cain's.
You think it's the end?
Yeah, I do. I don't think he can survive this unless there's evidence that the charges are not true.
I'm with Brett here. Lev DeChamp says it's a BS story, and I believe that. And I said this last week. And I'll reiterate it. Unless I see real proof of something, right? I'm going to be a skeptic here, because it's one of these Clarence Thomas jobs. It's like black conservative, going to get a position of power. Let's bring him down. Let's trash him. Let's make him what everybody in America is scared of, is the black guy with his
Big